right. Bang, bang. NFL Week 9 is here. It's been a crazy week, but it is time to talk football and time to make some money. And hopefully we'll teach y'all some stuff here and there, bring some knowledge to NFL Week 9 and help guide you through your process and the journey. So Price and Dustin, where we at? Any initial reactions before we dive in to the pricing?
A little tough pricing this week, but
Price, any sticker shock value or anything that popping out at you?
Yeah, Chase Edmonds being 6,800 kind of sucks. I was hoping he'd be like 6K. But other than that, I mean, they're trying to make it a little bit tighter. Yeah, all the good guys are expensive like they should be. And really the only value is like a super cheap receiver or one of the cheap random QBs who's filling in this week.
Yeah. But you never know as the week goes on with COVID. I mean, this year completely.
Look at the Niners and Packers, right?
Yeah. Trent Taylor, baby. Trent Taylor at captain. So, but seriously, it's legit. Like these shows early in the week can just completely change. But I think it's good. Edmonds' price, yes, it's a bummer. But everybody knows about Chase Edmonds' value with Drake out. So him not being priced at like the 4 or 5K range is a good thing, I think, because it allows people that have good processes like us and dig deep, find the value as opposed to Gio Bernard, Jamal Williams, lock and load, and you can easily make good lineups. So let's jump in though into quarterbacks first. Just give out, one or two that you're liking. And if you have anybody that you want to fade, definitely share that as well. Let's start with you, Dustin. Where are you at?
I mean, Russell Wilson, man, seems kind of weird that he's still cheaper, even though, I mean, he seems like he throws for 4 touchdowns every freaking game. And then it's a pretty good matchup as far as 2 good offensive teams. So I know they're in Buffalo. Haven't really checked the weather. Price might know some of that, but early in the week I don't really look at the weather forecast because they change so often. But outside of something like that, I think it's a great game to target both quarterbacks. I mean, you look, Josh Allen's 7,000, and Russell Wilson is 76. So 2 great plays there, especially going up against one another. And then another one for me would be Herbert. The dude's been chunking the rock. Raiders aren't great on defense, so that'll be an interesting one for me. He's kind of pricey though, 6,800. And then the value play for me would be, and it's not, I mean, he's still expensive, and Price will get into the cheaper quarterbacks because that's his forte. But somebody like Bridgewater, who's playing the explosive Chiefs offense, and they have a lot of weapons, and they might be getting C-Mac back. So, somebody to look at that's might be a little lower owned than those top end guys, but could return some value.
I like it. I dig it. I dig the matchup of Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. That's going to be a good matchup. I definitely want to fade. Personally, I'm going to fade the top 2 guys with Mahomes and Murray, because I think the value below that is so much better with the savings from Lamar Jackson has now made his way down to 6,900. Like 6,900 Lamar Jackson is incredible. I don't care what anybody says. It's incredible value. Then, like you said, Herbert, 6,800. He's starting to get pricey up there. But Josh Allen is who I like over Russell Wilson. $600 savings is something I like, and it's the Seattle defense, pass defense. You want to stack the quarterback that's going against Seattle. So Josh Allen, get right game against a very soft pass defense, funnel into the pass defense. And my boy Tua Tagovailoa from the University of Alabama, who was a breakout star early in his career, won a national championship as a freshman, is in a great matchup, and it's a very good cheap stack with him and Parker. Don't want to jump into the stacks too much, but the cheap play and cheap stack of the week is definitely going to be my boy Tua, who he just had that one touchdown pass, didn't have the best week, but that was more of game script than anything. And that's another reason why at the top there, Kyler Murray, 7,800. I'm just going to fade him. Miami has a good defense. They get after the quarterback, they get sacks, and Kyler Murray is just, I just like the values down below a lot more than Kyler. And Tua is going to be a cheap stack of the week.
Hey, talk to us, man.
Well, I want to be cheap at quarterback. I'm looking
Cheaper than Tua?
Cheaper than Tua. All three of the guys I like are cheaper than Tua. I'm looking Drew Lock, 5,200 against the Falcons. My next one, Jake Luton against Houston. And then Chase Daniel, since Stafford's out, he's 4K. The only semi-expensive guy I would play would be Watson. Other than that.
Is that a homer pick?
He's a great matchup against the Jaguars. Their defense sucks. And they actually didn't trade Fuller, so I have a feeling that the Wilson and Allen will be the two highest owned quarterbacks. And then I'll just drop down to those cheap guys. I think they'll be used in cash, but not GPPs. And I think someone like Drew Lock, who's very hit or miss. The Falcons offense is going to score on the Denver defense, so they'll have to keep up. And then same thing using Chase Daniel. We always joke about how he has the best job in the world because he gets paid like $60 million over his career to play 5 games. So now he's in game number 6. And in a dome, don't have to worry about any weather. And Minnesota's defense is not that good.
No, they're not.
All right, I love the value plays down there. You definitely want to go check us out at dfsdads.com as the week goes on, and we do our different deep dives and really break down and narrow it down to who you should play in cash, a single entry GPP lineups, and then also our MME lineups. So you definitely want to check us out, dfsdads.com. Check us out. Use code RC. Get you a little discount. Join the family. Join our Slack. Join our community. You won't regret it. And at the very least, a few bucks for a week. It's worth it, especially with the Masters coming as well. You'll get Masters content along with NFL content. It's no better time to join up and become part of the small community that we're growing every single week. So join on up. If you don't want to, at the very least, leave a like and smash that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. Let's get to the running backs, and real quickly, I'll go through one guy I like, and then let Price and Dustin take over. But Josh Jacobs, 31 carries last week. He had the most carries for week 8. Yes, his yards per carry is not where you want it to be, but the volume is there, which is crucial. Dustin likes Herbert at quarterback, and Josh Jacobs is getting the load at running back. And the Chargers are 25th in run defense, allowing 4.7 yards per carry. So that might help Josh Jacobs on his per carry average. And that is where I am looking to target early in the week. Josh Jacobs. I haven't gone back to this well in a minute, and this is the week I'm going to go back to Josh Jacobs. What about you? Yeah. What about you, Dustin?
Well, I think we took him week 1 when he banged off for 3 touchdowns, I think. So
oh yeah, that was my 13K week. I remember.
Yeah, we haven't been back on him. So no. I'm actually going to let Price take running backs first since I got to take quarterbacks. I don't want to steal his thunder.
So since I'm going cheap at quarterback, I'm going to go expensive at running back. I'm going to be all over Dalvin Cook again. Juicy matchup against the Lions. James Robinson should destroy Houston. He had a weird game against them last time because they ran some stupid goal line pass where he fumbled. But he's coming off a great week. And then Chase Edmonds. I know Chris is saying don't really look at Kyler, but if they're under pressure, that means Kyler's going to check down real quick, and that'll be Chase Edmonds running angles and options out of the backfield. He's already shown he's a great receiver out of the backfield as well. And I just like those three guys. I think they all have super high upside. They're going to dominate the share for touches out of the backfield, and they're all good receivers as well.
I like it. I guess for me, I'll try to go a little cheaper just to give some variety here. I'm looking at a guy named Josh Jackson. Looked like he kind of retained the lead back role there. I want to say he had 20 plus touches on the game. So, you look in, and he's good. He's a good pass catcher too. So I think it's a good matchup to get somebody down there he's with 4,900 and can, return value there. Another guy and he scored, how many did Zach Moss score last week?
A lot.
He had a touchdown, 80 yards rushing, and I think one catch for like 15 yards.
Yeah. So,
I thought he had 2 touchdowns, but I could be wrong.
I thought he did too, because I have
Singletary had one, he had one, and Allen had one.
Okay, I got you. So he's obviously going to split carries, but depending on how many points you think is going to be scored, and if they get a pass interference in the end zone like they did last week, and they get a 1-yard rush, obviously not my favorite play, but if you're looking for some value down there, and then who knows what's going to happen with Indianapolis backfield. I know that Taylor didn't practice today, and he's questionable or he was limited today with his ankle. But either way, he ceded a ton of snaps last week, so it might be something worth monitoring as far as how it goes later in the week, and maybe tagging one of those guys, because Baltimore should be able to score in Indianapolis. Indianapolis does have a good defense, but maybe look for one of the pass catching backs for Indianapolis. Hines, I think, was the big score last week, and hopefully he can get 6 catches and a touchdown and pay off for you. So chances are, for me, I'm going to be sticking with the more for sure guys like we talked about up top, but depending on injuries and COVID and all that stuff, like the DJ Dallas for Seattle, should Carson not be able to go.
Yeah, for sure. And just to finish up on running backs, one guy I've been secretly liking a lot is Antonio Gibson, but he just continues to disappoint me, because now he is 5.8 on DraftKings, which I don't love at all. He's not getting the pass game love. JD's getting that. The Giants have a pretty good defense, and that's somebody that I would look at fading. I don't love his price, but I'm a little angry that he's getting priced at 5.8. I was hoping he would be even lower than that. So that's kind of one thing. Whenever I first looked at the running backs, I was a little upset about. Let's let Dustin take over the receivers first. And I want you to pick somebody besides Steph Diggs, because that's who I want to go with.
Man, you knew that's who I was going to go to first. So as far as receivers and the top end guys, I think there's some good value there. So for the first time, I think since early in the season, Julio's more expensive than Ridley. And Ridley's a little banged up. So depending on that, obviously Julio could be a must play. Should Ridley sit, I think Matt Ryan would feed him the rock. So Tyreek Hill against Carolina. Carolina has good secondary, but it's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs, man, and Tyreek's a freak. So obviously you can plug and play him. Keenan Allen, who I was on the last 2 weeks because I felt like he was grossly undervalued. He was 6,100 and then 6,200. He's now getting to that point where He has a high floor because of his catches, but it'd be hard for him to pay off at 7,000. I think if he doesn't catch a touchdown. So, but I like him as far as he's going to get 16 to 18 points pretty much every week. Lockett, he's in a good spot. Plus matchup, plays the slot. Metcalf had a huge game last week. Obviously, Lockett had the huge game the week before. So, Seattle's run game is in shambles, especially if Carson can't go. And they haven't been running the ball hardly anyway. So, I think Lockett has a bounce back week. Thielen has a juicy match. I mean, all these top guys, you're really going to have to dig in and say, man, here's how I think this game is going to go, and kind of pick that way, because a lot of the guys have great matchups. Fuller, I mean, and as far as value, the value play for me, my boy Deontay Johnson is down at 5,000, I believe. Yeah, 5,000. Playing my Dallas Cowboys, and he's a stud for him as long as he can stay healthy. Last week was a little off week, but it was his least amount of targets, least everything besides the injury game. So I think a bounce back game is in effect for him.
Well, I think you're right on Lockett. Last week, DK had the big matchup, big game against he had a tougher matchup, but Lockett at 6,800 compared to DK at 7,800. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, how is DK 1K more expensive and right below Hopkins? That's nuts to me.
Well, probably how he looks in the video of him running down the cornerback.
And he's only had one bad game, whereas Lockett's had 3.
Yeah.
Because Lockett has a 40-point game and a 50-point game. But DK, is 19, 19, 23, 18, 27, then 4, and then 43. So he's been a lot more steady.
Yeah, but I mean, 7,800 is a pretty stiff price, I feel like, for him. But I think once again, DraftKings did a good job. We went on Keenan Allen week after week after week, and I'm like, hey, is it going to be move up to 6,300 this week? But 7K, that's it's starting to get tougher. But Tyreek Hill last week, 6,700 was super undervalued. Now he's getting priced up a little bit more as well. So 7,100. But the guy I wanted to talk about was Diggs. I was looking for little stats on him before we talked, because I'm really intrigued by this game and this matchup, which we'll get into eventually. But Diggs commands 29%, and that is 7th in the NFL for target share. And he's leading the league in raw target numbers with 79 on the season. His air yards are through the roof, and I'm obsessed with him this week. I wish his price was a little lower. 7,400 is a little, not the best value, but I think his opportunity is too good to pass up, especially if you're going to the stacking route. But Diggs is where I'm looking at mostly. Is there anybody priced up top for you? Like, if you had to pick one of these guys from lock it up, who's your go-to play here?
Julio. Ridley's not going to play. He has a sprained foot. There's no way they're going to throw him out there. Their record, they're not competing for the playoffs. So there's no reason to risk him getting hurt. So that means it's Julio in a game where it should be fairly high scoring. Let's see. Yeah, it's a 50-point over-under, so it's relatively high. You got to account for the fact that their defense is garbage. So if the Broncos move the ball and score on them, Allen's going to in turn have to move it as well. And he has an amazing matchup this week.
He does. What about down low? Do you have any cheap play that you're liking down low?
So same game. I like Jerry Jeudy. He's 4,700.
I mean, you might as well just say Roll Tide. Just say Roll Tide. I mean, Any other Alabama players you got to name? I got Tua.
No, the rest of them are. Yeah.
What about Ruggs? He's cheap.
No, I like Marvin Hall for the Lions. Galladay's out, so Hall slide into starting. He had a really good week last week.
Yeah.
And then Mooney, we were on him last week. We kind of moved off because of the weather, but 3,900. So if I'm gonna go expensive at running back, it means I have to sacrifice somewhere, and especially if I want to play Julio too, it means I got to go cheap here on a couple people.
Yeah. Cool. You want to move on to the tight ends? You want to start at soft price?
Well, I mean, the obvious play is Kelsey. I mean, he's literally the best matchup on the slate of any receiver, tight end, or, he's just, and he's, no matter what, whoever they add, he still seems to get a lion's share of targets over the middle. So love him. I don't know what to do with Waller.
Yeah, it's weird
because he should be do really well, and he also has a good matchup. But I liked him better when Ruggs was out, because no Ruggs means he gets all the targets.
Yeah, the problem with Waller this year is he hadn't been getting any yardage. It's just been like 5-yard passes. It seems like every time,
and he doesn't get touchdowns either.
He's only gotten 3, so it's just tough. I mean, he's got a decent floor because of the targets, but the upside hasn't been there. Whereas last year he was getting chunk plays.
And there's no real cheap tight ends I like this week. It makes it super tough. I think that I don't mind Hayden Hurst. So if I don't go Julio in that game, I think he'd be a nice little, stack with Drew Lock. But
what's going on with Hunter? Tough. What's going on with Hunter Henry? I can't get Hunter Henry right at all.
I mean last week
he's still at a pretty good price.
So it's like Herbert throws to random people to score touchdowns instead of Hunter Henry.
But eventually that's going to end, though. Like, these guys aren't getting the snap share, and that's going to, reverse. You can't just.
Speaking of something that should reverse, touching on a receiver, Hollywood Brown threw a tantrum after the game about not being involved, and Lamar Jackson went on record today saying, I need to get him more involved. He's a big playmaker. I don't know if this is the week to do it because of their matchup, but usually when that happens, that player gets force-fed the ball.
Yeah. The Antonio Brown.
Got to get the baby the bottle.
Yeah. What about Mike Gesicki for Miami with Tua playing? He's in a good match versus Arizona. Should be pretty high scoring at 4,400. We've been waiting for his breakout game. Could this be it? Is it worth taking a flyer on that?
I'd rather play Ebron.
Yeah.
I was on Ebron last week. He did really well. He did go up 600. So I think that'd be a good thing to a good matchup because Ebron should do better than Gesicki. I mean, I get the Gesicki point, but if that game doesn't shoot out, it's tough to. I know Tua is your boy, but you have no idea what he's actually going to do, who he's going to target.
Well, yeah, and Gesicki's just been so. I mean, he has 2 huge games, and then a lot of bad
duds.
Games.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I think he's had 4 games with 1 catch or less.
It's kind of been the story of tight ends in general this year. It's been a lot of either really good games or just duds. Tight end has been tough this year. Minus a couple of our cheap plays, we did really good with Trey Burton, and I feel like tight end this year has been really, really difficult to.
If Hawkinson's out, then Jesse James would be a good play.
He's questionable. We'll have to see as the week goes on Friday practice report.
Jared Cook. Oh, he's not on the slate. Never mind. My bad.
You always got to at least throw one of those in for us.
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. I got to at least keep you on your toes.
We'll slowly move on to the defense here. Steelers 4,900. My man. I mean, DraftKings, thank you. Appreciate it. You're really pricing the Steelers down low at 4,900. Woo. Is it still worth it?
Yes.
Yes.
So
It's going to be tough, though, man. That's so
4,900.
expensive.
When you actually make your builds, though, minus an MME build where you're not actually thinking because you're not actually making the lineup, you're just putting them in your player pool. I mean, it's pretty tempting to save a couple grand and be like, if I save a couple grand, I can actually get this good player at receiver as opposed to like a Henry Ruggs type.
So them and Washington are like the two who I immediately want to look at because Washington gets the Giants. But man, I mean, it's the Cowboys line is in shambles. They have one starter? Garrett Gilbert is starting at quarterback.
Did they make him the starter today?
Yes.
Between him or Rush, which I don't know who's worse or who's better.
There's a reason that they're looking at their fourth and fifth string quarterbacks. And the Steelers D is no joke. They forced Lamar into 4 turnovers last week. They're going to get pressure. Yeah. I believe that they lead the league in sacks, or they're up top 3. It's just, Gilbert is toast.
My thing is, and I'm a UT fan, so I've seen Gilbert turn it over, but it's kind of one of those. Is it a letdown game? They just had a huge game with the Ravens, who's a huge rival, and obviously they're both really good teams too. And now they get the lowly Dallas Cowboys. Are they going to come in a little flat? Maybe Zeke gets going on the ground, and they're able to kind of ride the game out that way. That's kind of the only thing that scares me a little bit because of the price tag. But if they come out like they've been playing, then they're going to get 5 sacks, 4 turnovers. I mean,
they lead the league in sacks right now, averaging 4.5 a game. And now they get the
worst. Yeah. Best matchup for them possible. So,
but it is 2020, and they'll probably let the Cowboys score 30 points and get negative.
Speaking on your defenses, and I remember this vividly because it cost me quite a bit of money. Was Washington versus the Giants a few weeks back, and I had a banging lineup, and I couldn't decide. They were the same price, and I was like, man, got to go Washington because their front 7. I felt like they were better. Daniel Jones turned the ball over, and the freaking Giants defense scored a touchdown. So I'm like, man, do I go back to the Giants? Washington.
Was this the week you faded Derrick Henry too?
I didn't fade him. I took him
And
is this the week when Derrick Henry had that 95-yard touchdown run?
He had 200 yards and like 3 touchdowns, and Dustin was like,
yeah. Still scored 200 points. Go figure. So yeah, I mean, I like the Giants just because Washington's they're just not gonna score a ton of points. It's not their identity. It's like the Cowboys. Like, right now the Cowboys probably can score 2 touchdowns max.
Those would be the top 3 defenses, I think, for the week. Would be Steelers, Washington, and the Giants. Because even though the Giants and Washington are playing each other, both teams will give up sacks and turn the ball over.
I'm kind of intrigued by, and don't kill me for saying this, but Minnesota.
I was about to say that. Yes, that's my cheap defensive play of the week. Go ahead, Dustin. Talk to us.
Bryce gave me that look like you're an idiot because I'm playing their quarterback.
Why? Because Stafford's out?
Well, just because Detroit,
You think Galladay get hurt too?
Yeah. So to me, it's kind of Detroit's wants to identify as a run-heavy team, and that we've seen it all year long, right? And so, what happens when Minnesota gets up? I mean, they looked really good offensively. Dalvin Cook looked like a beast. you know, and Thielen and Jefferson are out there. Obviously, if Cousins can perform at all. And then, you know, the Lions get in a negative game script, which they don't want, and, you know, just leading to mistakes. But, you know, that's just a boot because it's a 2,400 defense, and the Vikings have been pretty bad overall, but they played better last week. So
if you had to guess how many fantasy points their defense has for the year, what would your guess be?
I'm gonna go with 24.
16.
16. Yeah.
Ooh, brutal. And at the end of the day, you do have to score points.
What do you think the Steelers defense scored last week? 18.
But look, okay, here we go.
My Miami Dolphins.
The game theory behind it is correct.
But hear me out.
Because it's hurt number one receiver, hurt quarterback. Patricia seems to think that they can run the ball with Adrian Peterson all the time. Yeah. And they did do decent last week against the Packers.
Minnesota's weakness is their secondary as well, which doesn't seem like it's going to be the issue.
Hear me out, though. Here's who they've played, okay? Outside of Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, Houston, Seattle, Atlanta, Green Bay. Those are all very prolific offenses with freaking studs.
Chase Daniel, Marvin Hall. Woo. Jesse James. Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, there is a little bit of outlier there. I mean, those are really good offenses, all of those.
Yes. So, like I said, the game theory behind it makes sense. It's just hard to click that fucking button, dude.
I mean, who do you think scores more points, the Bills or Vikings on defense?
The Vikings.
Yeah. Seattle.
And they're like right there at the same. So it's not. I don't know. I feel like on the cheap defenses, I don't think it's that hard to hit that button.
Who do you think scores more, the Vikings or the Giants defense? They're 300 difference.
Yeah, I think it's worth going up to the Giants personally, because it's not just about not giving up points; it's about getting turnovers.
Yeah,
and Giants have done that,
and they have Jabril Peppers, who can actually return something for a touchdown if he gets the chance.
Yeah. All right. Bang, bang, we're out. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Check out our next videos. We're going to be doing a stack video, which seems like y'all love. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not. Appreciate the love. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I don't know. Just say something. It don't matter. Just say Roll Tide, since Bryce is picking all the Alabama people. We're out.